If you've always assumed your pension would pass to your children tax-free when you're gone, I need to stop you right there. That long-standing rule is changing, and it's now written into law. I'm Angela Rose, and today I'm explaining exactly what's coming, when it takes effect, and what it could mean for your family. Hello again, and welcome back. I'm Angela Rose, and this channel is all about breaking down financial and pension news in plain, honest language. No scare tactics, just clarity. Today we're covering a change that's been building for a while and has now been confirmed in law. Unused pension funds are being brought into the scope of inheritance tax, starting from the 6th of April, 2027. For decades, most private pensions have sat outside a person's estate for tax purposes, making them one of the most efficient ways to pass wealth on to family. That's now changing. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what's changing, why, who it affects, and the practical steps worth considering now, well before the rules take effect. Let's get into it. Let's start with the confirmed facts, because this has moved well past the proposal stage. This change was first announced by the Chancellor in the autumn budget of 2024. After a lengthy consultation process with the pensions industry, the legislation was finalized, and the Finance Act 2026 received royal assent in March 2026. That means this is no longer speculation, it's confirmed law. It applies to deaths occurring on or after the 6th of April 2027. Here's what it actually does. Currently, most defined contribution pensions, the kind where you've built up a pot of money over your working life, pass to your beneficiaries outside your estate for inheritance tax purposes. In many cases, that pension wealth has been completely shielded from the 40% inheritance tax that applies to estates above the tax-free threshold. From April 2027, that protection is largely removed. Most unused pension funds and pension death benefits will be counted as part of your estate when inheritance tax is calculated. If your total estate, pension included, exceeds the available thresholds, that pension money could now be taxed at the same 40% rate as your other assets. There are some important exceptions, so let's be precise. Payments to a surviving spouse or civil partner remain exempt, as do payments to a registered charity. Death in service benefits, the payout from a workplace scheme if someone dies while employed, are also excluded. But payments to children, grandchildren, or other beneficiaries generally will not be exempt under the new rules. So why is the government doing this? The stated reasoning is straightforward. Officials have said the goal is to close a gap that allowed pensions to be used primarily as an inheritance planning tool, rather than what they were originally designed for, funding someone's own retirement. According to the government's own estimates, around 10,500 additional estates are expected to face an inheritance tax bill in the first year alone because of this change, with roughly 38,500 more estates paying a higher bill than they would have otherwise. Who does this affect most? Broadly speaking, this matters most to people with meaningful pension savings who are also planning to leave some or all of that pension to their children or other family members, particularly if their total estate, property, savings, investments, and pension combined is likely to sit near or above the inheritance tax threshold, which currently stands at £325,000, plus an additional residence allowance in many cases. I also want to flag something that often gets missed. The responsibility for reporting and paying this tax will fall on personal representatives, meaning the executors handling the estate, not the pension scheme itself. That's a meaningful administrative shift, and it's one reason legal and financial professionals are urging people to plan ahead, rather than leave this for their family to untangle after the fact. One more point worth mentioning, because it's easy to overlook. These new inheritance tax rules sit on top of existing income tax rules, not in place of them. If someone dies after age 75, beneficiaries already pay income tax on pension withdrawals at their own tax rate. From April 2027, that same pension money could also be subject to inheritance tax before it even reaches them. The government has said an income tax deduction will apply, so the two taxes don't fully stack on top of each other. But based on the information currently available, this won't eliminate the added tax burden entirely for many families. Let's turn this into something practical, because this is exactly the kind of change worth acting on early, rather than waiting until 2027. First, and this is my personal recommendation, not official advice, if you have significant pension savings and expect to leave a portion unused, it's worth reviewing your overall estate value now, pension included, to understand whether you're likely to be affected. Many people have never had to think about inheritance tax on their pension before, so this can catch families by surprise if it isn't reviewed ahead of time. Second, if you haven't looked at your will or your expression of wish forms in a while, now is a sensible time to revisit them, particularly around who you've nominated as beneficiaries and how your estate is structured overall. Third, if your estate is likely to be affected, consider speaking with a regulated financial advisor or estate planning solicitor about your options well before April 2027. There may be legitimate ways to structure your finances more efficiently, but this is genuinely a get personalized advice situation rather than a one-size-fits-all answer because everyone's estate looks different. And finally, keep an eye on further government guidance. Based on the information currently available, additional detailed guidance from HMRC is still being developed and is expected through 2026. So some of the finer operational details, particularly around exactly how reporting and payment will work in practice, are still being finalized. I'll keep you updated here as that guidance is published. Let me step out of reporter mode and speak with you plainly for a moment. In my opinion, this is one of the more significant estate planning shifts we've seen in years, precisely because so many people have quietly assumed their pension was already outside their estate and didn't need special attention. I think the biggest risk here isn't the tax itself. It's people simply not knowing this change exists until it's too late to plan around it. I'll also say this. I understand the government's reasoning about closing what's been described as a pension as inheritance vehicle loophole. Whether or not you agree with that reasoning is a matter of personal opinion, and reasonable people land differently on it. But regardless of how you feel about the policy itself, the practical reality is the same. If this could affect your family, the smart move is to plan early rather than react late. Let's recap. From the 6th of April, 2027, most unused pension funds and pension death benefits will be brought into the scope of inheritance tax following the Finance Act 2026, which received royal assent in March 2026. Exemptions remain for surviving spouses, civil partners, registered charities, and death-in-service benefits, but payments to children and other beneficiaries generally won't be exempt. This could mean a real tax bill for families who previously assumed pensions passed on tax-free. If you have meaningful pension savings and plan to leave some of it to family, this is worth reviewing now, well ahead of the 2027 start date. That's today's update. I hope this gave you real clarity on a change that's going to affect a lot of families in the years ahead. As always, for decisions specific to your own estate and finances, please speak with a regulated financial advisor or solicitor, and keep an eye on official HMRC guidance as it's released. If this video helped you, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find this information before it's too late to plan. Subscribe and turn on notifications too, because there's likely to be more guidance and updates on this topic as we get closer to 2027. Let me know in the comments, did you know about this change before today? I read every comment, so let's talk about it down there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Angela Rose, and I'll see you in the next one.